Ethiopia and Ethiopians have been through a lot recently. There was a serious civil war in Tigray that broke out in 2020 and ended 2 years later with thousands of people dead and displaced and an uneasy peace. That was not the only war, and it isn't the only place where an uneasy peace prevails in Ethiopia. The country is riven with ethnic splits and contestation for land and power. Bandits and armed political groups roam the country, wreaking havoc in the lives of ordinary people. One of the scourges of the situation is kidnapping for ransom, and there's been a sharp increase in recent years. One of the most egregious cases was where around 160 students were taken and held for a ransom of $12,000 each. The students were making their way to the capital Addis Ababa by bus and passing through the Oromia region where they were taken. Many of them are still missing. Oromia is the biggest region in Ethiopia, and it is the worst affected. The Oromia Liberation Army, a group implacably opposed to the federal government, is blamed for most of these abductions. Oromia is the Advocacy Director for the Amhara Association of America, and he's based in Canada. Why are kidnappings on the increase in Ethiopia? I asked him.
The main fundamental reason is the state's capacity has declined over the last few years, particularly since Abiy Ahmed came to power. The government has shifted from, ensuring law and order to really ensuring loyalty to Abiy Ahmed. So there's lack of focus on addressing political grievances that leading into civil war, but also generally local officials are not seeing a path for them by ensuring law and order. So I think the state capacity has declined over the last 5 years, and that has led into civil wars, obviously, but also there is lack of unified political party that is giving direction and incentives and enforcing mechanisms for governance in the country. That has translated into, unstable leadership in some areas, but also in some regions, the priority is demonstrating your loyalty to the prime minister, and therefore, even if you're ineffective in ensuring security and law and order, you would be able to stay on power. And that's actually the case in Oromia region, where we have seen the kidnappings really skyrocketed in number. So the fundamental reason is the lack of state capacity, civil war, and that leading into the widespread availability of firearms, which also contributed to, some small bandits also kidnapping people.
So it seems like you're talking about opportunism, you're talking about a gap in governance, and you're talking about criminal activity. What motivates the groups that actually do it? Is it all of those things, or is there more to it?
If it is the small level kidnappers that we have seen to a varying degree across the country, their main reason is just money. These are unemployed people who are denied of opportunity, and they're trying to make a living out of it. But if we're talking about bigger actors in these kidnappings, mainly fighters or insurgent groups such as Oromo Liberation Army, their intentions are different. On the one hand, they want to finance their operation by kidnapping people and demanding a high amount of money to release them, but also they would like to demonstrate their power by kidnapping people in mass, such as what they did in early July when they abducted several buses around Oromia and took more than 150 students of Amhara origin and others. And the political messaging is like, we are keeping the Amharas in check, we are intimidating them, we are not allowing them to come Addis Ababa, and all these messages they want to send to their supporters. So I think they want to demonstrate their power by abducting several people. They want to generate revenue, but at the same time also they want to please their hardcore extremist supporters by targeting particularly Amharas.
Is the organized kidnappings only being carried out by this particular group, and are they only targeting Amhara people?
Also, the frequent targets were Amharas. They also targeted Oromos, who they think are supporting the Abiy administration. But no other political group has done this kind of kidnappings, as far as I'm aware. And of course, many of the kidnappings committed by Oromo Liberation Army are believed to be supported, enabled, and tolerated by local officials within Oromia who are sympathetic to OLA but officially are fighting OLA. But when you see the way the OLA conducts its kidnappings for ransom, they are asking family members to make payments through banks. That can not be possible unless the officials, at least at the local level, are involved in these kidnappings.
One Mandefro, Advocacy Director for the Amhara Association of America. Now,